I question it at times. Now, I took a little bit of a break. My last video where I was fitting up guards to these blades, mostly farrier's rasp, and it occurred to me that I've got some projects over here that need done, and they're not orders, but they're pieces I'd like to get done. And one of those is this reverse falchion. I've got 3 reverse falchions. I've got 2 reverse falchions and then a companion knife. And this is my talon theme falchion. And I thought, I could put a talon here, but why not put a ring pommel? The ring pommel sounds like it could be cool. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what I've done so far. And the first thing I've got to do is I have to get, I've got to take my ring pommel, which I've been working on. You can see I've rounded it flat here. So that will sit flat against the handle material, but it is a little short. So I can do a couple things. One, I can add an extension here for when I peen this. 2, I can shorten this handle, which I will most likely shorten the handle slightly. So, what I'm going to do, now this is, I'm assuming mild steel. I've softened it up and you can see that I've drilled it. I went through with a 1/4 inch and then I went to slightly larger. I'd have to get my caliper to see what size it was. It was something I just grabbed off the bench. Now I am going to bevel around the edges and I may even bevel around the center. I haven't decided yet. But, first things first, I don't want this turning on the Tang. And I don't want to have to grind that down that much. So, first thing I am going to do is I'm going to turn that round hole oval. I'm going to make it oval. So I'm just going to set this here in the vise for now. And what I have in the forge is an old punch, because I'm going to be punching through to make the hole the right size. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn this to the side. There they are. I'm going to come over here. Measure it by eye. How much do I want to stick down? About there. I need a hole about that wide. So I have to make a tool. Now, doing tooling for forging, this is an important part. So I'm making a drip position. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, it's a great opportunity to do so. Here's my punch stock. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to forge it out a little bit. Being that this is already tapered, as it was a punch, and I'm just going to start flattening that out. I'm going to turn this into a grip. Turn that temperature up. I'm also going to get ready to do some work on this wheel pommel. So I've got to determine, oh hey look, that fits right there in my switch block. So that will help hold, that'll help support it while I punch this. Now, I should probably put something in here to hold it open. before I get to that point, I'm going to make my tool to this width, approximately, maybe a little more. Take my drift. And that's going to be wide enough right there. That should be the right thickness. This should work. Now, I don't know what steel this is, so I don't know if it's a water quench or an oil quench. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep it real simple. I'm going to heat that up. I'm going to quench it in canola oil. And then I'm just going to draw a temper on it. I don't want it overly brittle. I'm just going to let temper draw on. So what that means is I need a file. Here's a big bastard file. I'm going to take my file after I quench that and I'm going to polish that surface. Not polish, high polish. I'm just going to remove some of the oxide, some of the scale, so I can watch the color creep. And then I'm going to cool that off. Can I make an axe? Absolutely. I've got a whole bunch of them over on the rack. And if you look through some of my other videos, you can actually see me forging those axes. Hello everybody, how's it going? Guys, if you haven't subscribed, it's a great time to do so. I just did one live video and one wasn't enough. I had to do another one. So here's what I'm going to do. Everybody wants to see the quench. My canola's right here. All right, I still got quite a bit of heat in this. God, that hardened up a lot. So I'm just letting the heat creep on this. And then I'm going to oil quench again. Now, I'm going to let that sit, because right up in here, this is still very, very hot. I do need to draw some temper out of that. Say hi. Hey man, that's your thing. Let's see, I need something copper. This is bronze. This is going to hold temperature pretty good. So I'm going to heat that piece of bronze up, and I'm actually going to use it to draw temper on this, because the end of that is way too hard. Okay? Thank you. Smoking smoked chicken. I like the name. All right, guys. So now that I've got this figured out, I can go ahead and figure out how large of a diameter piece of rod I need to support this, and then I can try to find something that's about that size, which is about 3/4 inch. Shouldn't be too hard. 3/4 inch diameter rod. That's about 5/8. Oh, damn, almost. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to keep this, I want this supported when I punch. So give me just a second. What's the chance? Not close enough. If all else fails, I'll grind this down real quick. And that looks like what I'm probably going to end up doing. Kind of a ring mandrel here. This has got quite a bit of taper to it, so it doesn't have a lot of as much taper, so this is what I'm going to be using to support the inside while I start to drip that out, because I don't want that to smash down. Okay, cool. So far, so good. Let's see if I can keep it going that way. Now, going to take my hot piece of bronze out. And I'm just going to lay this on here. Yeah, okay, that's hot. I'm going to lay that on there, and I'm going to let some of the heat transfer. Because that is glassy brittle right now, and I don't need to take that hole that I just made by drilling and have that blocked off with a piece of steel I can't drill out. So I'm just holding this here. I'm letting my temperature transfer. Right now, kind of at a golden, kind of a straw color. I'm really going to need that at like a purple or a blue for what I'm doing. If I can do this once, it should be good. Okay, definitely getting some colors. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to one, move this block of bronze that's overly hot. And I'm going to hope this works. Not going to be able to do it like that. I'm going to heat this up, and I'm going to try to turn that round hole not round anymore. Part of that I'm not going to be able to support it. I'm actually going to have to drift it out. So just going to let it heat up. I've got more than one of these mandrels. That should work. couple things I'm going to do. I am going to get myself set up for this. Okay. Move some of my stuff up here for drifting. Now this piece right here, I can actually probably go to that 3/4 inch size on one of those. Okay. So get ready for that. I'll be supporting in this wedge block here and be redrifting here. That's what she said. That's so hot it spits on you. Damn straight. You have an Instagram page for your business? I do. Find me at _ in between each word, Dustin, DUSTIN, _ Rhodes, RHODES, _ Forge, FORGE, _ Works, WORKS. And you can find, if you're on Facebook, there is a link in the description that'll bring you to Axon Main Forge of Memory. Hello, Jose. Oh, Joe Adams. For some reason I thought I said Jose for a moment. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get ready for drifting, and hopefully that is tempered enough. Of course, it's going to gain some heat when I do the punching, do the drifting. Punching generally involves making a hole where there wasn't one before. Drifting generally involves either shaping it or enlarging it, which is shaping. Okay, so it's going to take a moment, since that pommel is as large as it is, it's going to take a moment to get that up to temperature. Now, what I am going to do once that gets up, once I get it shaped, then I'm going to have to round it out again, and I may have to do that in between heats as well. I want to see how this goes. Hopefully it goes well. It should be reasonably supported here, even being hollow in the middle, because as it compresses, it's going to push out into the sides. There'll be some reshaping on it. Hope everybody's doing great. We do a lot of knife build, sword blade, swords, axes, tomahawks, different cool things like that. Things that are cutlery related, as well as reviews. We do firearm reviews and have a good time with it. So I'm going to let that continue to come up to temp, and then it's going to be make the round hole oval. One thing I am going to have to do, I am going to have to shorten my handle up just a little bit. So while I'm waiting on that pommel to come up to temp, let's come over here to the grinder. I've got a platen, I've got a 36. Man's got a mechanical pencil here. Let's take it down, about 3/8 of an inch or so. Now it's likely I'm going to have to level that out some, but boy, girls, I want to slide you back so you can see what's going on here. Get a glove. So, making some progress there. Going to go back into the forge. And do that again. So, going to be a lot of back and forth on this. Now that did get the tip of that fairly hot. Now I'm going to have to go up on that real far to make this happen. Doesn't seem to be deforming too bad so far, so I'm really happy with that. Christopher, you're very, very welcome. All right. I like to teach. I like to give guys, let people know, hey, this is something you can do. If it's something you're interested in, it's something you can follow. All right. So next, go back in. Not quite. Very close. Very close. All right, so I'm going to get that up to temp probably one more time, and I'm going to call it reasonable on that. And then I'll probably have to drip that center out again, which is okay. It was 3/4 inch. I'm going to try to keep it in that range. The end, I could grind that reasonably round just for the pass-through for the peen, because that's going to rivet everything together. Now, I do plan on putting some epoxy down in that handle before I do that. I'm also going to finish the handle out. May sharpen up the blade. May put a little bit of Ricasso on that. Stay tuned to find out. All right, here we go. Okay, going back into the forge, and then I'll be drifting back around. So drip around, and chances are I'm not going to have to grind it back flat. Drifting is going to be done right here, and I am shooting for 3/4 of an inch. ish right there. So I'm coming up to, I'm going in about to that point to get a marker. So for 3/4 of an inch, so I know approximately where I'm going on that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. And I am looking for kind of a rustic result on the entire piece. So remove that drift and slide this wedge block over. That's what I'm going to be using. Okay, that may have been larger than 3/4 inch. Coming in here. I think that'll work. Okay. So, that looks like it can kind of work. Let's see what happens. Okay. One, I am going to cool this a couple more times because I'm sure there's plenty of heat in reserve still residing in that pommel. And I'm going to be doing some grinding to this, so I have already taken down that handle material. We're looking pretty good on how that could fit up. And I kind of may have got the idea. I was watching Tristan and Isolde. It's a movie I like. And you got Ireland and you got the, like the Irish ring-hilted swords. Well, Moorholt has a really awesome, really awesome reverse falchion that's much larger than the piece I'm building, and it doesn't quite have the same profile. But I thought, hey, why not see if I can use that as inspiration? All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and grind this a little bit. Okay. Just grinding this. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that over. in from the side. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change out from platen, and I'm going to go to a serrated wheel. So surface, not a surface conditioner. I'm going to use a 10-inch contact wheel, serrated contact. Wearing down today. But getting a lot done, I guess. Columbia, how's it going? And Suleiman, probably got your name wrong. But how's it going as well? What I'm going to do here, just going to keep working. Clean that up some. Now, going to radius this in on the edge, chamfer it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to chamfer it. I'm going to break the hard edge. We'll cool this off because it's hot. And Now I've got more to do on this pommel. Actually, I hate doing pommel. This is a mini dictator grinder, actually, Christopher. I don't know if you go by Chris or what. It comes across Christopher on the name, so. Okay, so that is going to keep it from turning, which is what I want. So what that means, next, what I'm going to do, I want that to be setting like that. For the most part, I'm going to round that Tang out on the end. So here we go. Removing the handle and the guard. And then I'm going to put them back on because I didn't mark where I needed to. So it's a possibility that I will round up to that point. Now I'm not cutting that, I'm not incising that. I'm just going to try to take it down to about a 1/4 inch round on the end. Wow, it is extremely warm in here. Okay. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's a good time to do that, so I know that this is where I need to be, right here. I've got that measurement. Let me grab a glove. And I'm going to start grinding that down. And I'm actually going to kind of flatten or dome the end. Pretty close. I am very close. Actually looks like I need to release that. I'll just soften it up a bit. Now I've got enough of a pass through, I can peen that. Now before I do that, one thing I am going to have to do is I'm going to have to soften that tang up. Safari Tom, how's it going? John, how's everybody doing? All right. Let's see how I'm doing on this measurement. So here's a guard. There's a handle. There's a pommel. That is all coming together. Reasonable. Pretty nice, actually. Okay, so one thing I do need to do, I do need to soften the tang on this. One, you don't want it breaking. And two, I do need it softer so that it can be peened down. Now, the whole process of setting this is a different matter. And that's going to require cold peening, which is nerve-wracking to me. It really is. So, let me show you how we soften that up. Hopefully there's enough gas in here. If not, I'm going to have to go in the back and get some more. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to start low here. Build up some heat in the tang itself. And I'm going to work it towards the tip here. And I'm going to run that tip. I'm not going to run it to a blue. I'm actually going to run it down till the color goes out of it, so that at that point I'm actually building up to like a low red. Right now I've got kind of a gold color on the end, and that's probably from grinding. Whole tang's kind of going that gold color right there. Going into a purple. And this is how the old timers would have talked about drawing temper. Now I'm going into a blue and a light blue, which is quite soft. And I'm going to run it just up into a silver. Got that light blue kind of going into a bluish green. Then going into that silver. And if I hold it there very long, it'll actually start turning a dull red. The idea is that the diameter of the hole, when you're doing riveting or peening, that you want approximately the same what's the equivalent of the diameter. You want that much above the point that it's going to be peened onto. So I'm going to let that air cool in the vise like that. That should be reasonably safe. Turn it around. So you can see the color that's been drawn, and that's just on the end of the tang. Of course, it wasn't hardened that much onto the tang. Only a little bit down here into the shoulder area. So this just makes for a little more stress-relieved area. Guys, I'm going to be finishing this out. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We'll take another break because I'm getting pretty weak at this point. My blood sugar's kind of getting low. Haven't had enough calories today. And there you go. It's It's a neat deal. The threads may not have been reversed. At first I was using the selfie cam, so that does reverse everything. So that might be. Yeah. When am I joining WWE? They've already had one Dustin Rhodes. They don't need another. Thanks, let's see, Clips to Goo. I wonder if that's to go, but it's two O's, so it'd be ooh. You guys have a great one. Be sure to subscribe. Check out some of my other videos. I'll catch you a bit later.